Hello, yes, it's the old Git here with you again. Up to my political eyeballs with strife. I cannot fathom for the life of me what's going on over in the UK. I put a little backdrop on the back of it. You can see it says, boot Starmer out. Yeah, boot him out is the right word, because that's what we're going to talk about. Three individuals that, for me, seem to the most ridiculous people to ever be voted into Parliament and running the government with the majority that they have, although it be based on the lowest turnout ever to nominate a party. But anyway, that's history, and they're there now, and we have to put up with them. But I can see that some people won't be putting up with them. Things like they're emptying the prisons so they can put their political prisoners inside, and that's what I call them, because you say a hurty word or a naughty thing or say something in jest that you'd never do, and you get locked up for it. Again, I still have the flicker on my camera, which is, I can't seem to fathom out what's wrong with it and why it keeps doing what it's doing. It's not as bad as it was. I've had a little mess around with it here and there to see what it is. But anyway, let's go on. So the first person I want to talk to is obviously the leader of the Labour Party. He's the first one that I want to get to grips with and sort of let you know how I feel and what I think is going on. And a few topics that are very close to my heart, because I'm a pensioner. Yeah, I am. And we're going to look at first this idiot, Mr. Keir Starmer, the devil reincarnate as far as I'm concerned. So here he is. First of all, the buck stops with him. He's in charge of the party, and he is the man where all the decisions are made, they're put forward, and he has to sanction them, say yes, that's what we want to do. So over the pensioners, which went through Parliament the other day, and obviously with the majority that Labour had, although some Labour politicians didn't want to vote the way they did, but they had to because otherwise they'd lose the whip, and they didn't want that. They want to stay in the job for the next 5 years, I suppose. The Grim Reaper. So here's the question over this man. Not only does he tell lies, and it's been proved many times of how much he's lied to the people before the election and during the election campaign, and gone totally back on all the things that, most of the things so far, and there's more to come, that he promised that he would do for people. So he's a liar. And for a man who's got for a man who comes from the legal background, being a barrister or the leader of the public prosecutions or whatever he was, they tell lies anyway. They do. Not all of them. There's some good lawyers, some good barristers, but there's a lot of bad ones. They'll do anything to get a conviction. So this man lied. So I'm going to put this to this. This is what I'm going to put to it in regard to his future, if he's got one in the party, because I believe that they'll get rid of him fairly soon, and Jeremy Corbyn will cross the floor, and he will be then the leader, because all the Corbynistas are still there, all the anti-Semites are still there, and they're just waiting to creep out of the woodwork, which I think they're doing anyway, by the fact that he's allowed the cancellation of the weapons and the weapons parts to Israel. That is sick. That is saying to Hamas, look, we are helping you, because no, it's not a real government. It's a terrorist organisation that's running Gaza, not the people of Gaza, and you've just bona fide them. You've just said, okay, you can we're going to stop some weapons because we don't agree what's going. No, it's not your place to do. It's your place to provide and save the Western world from the despots. Although there's many people coming into the country who now are making problems in our country and forming little enclaves and asking for laws of their own, and you seem to pander to them more than you do than anybody else. So the other thing that I've got to say just before we move on to the next person I'm going to lambast is, you're letting these prisoners out. Angela Rayner says, oh well, what we can do, if they've got nowhere to stay, we'd have to use hotels. Not only are they paying, what is it, 7 million or whatever it is a day for these illegal people who've crossed the channel in little boats and launched themselves into our society, and obviously don't like the food they get. They're asking for more and more, but they get lots of things that they wouldn't get elsewhere. Now you want to put prisoners, or prisoners who've been released from prison early, into hotels as well. What you've just done to the pensioners, it's so disgusting. You're taking away money from people who've probably worked all their life and are entitled to their pension. And you say, no, we'll give it to all these people because they need somewhere. But Angela Rayner's just said that ex-prisoners will be given priority as well for homes. Why? So it looks to me, if you're bad in society, if you go out shoplifting and steal under £200 a day, you don't work, you claim benefits and all the sort of stuff that's wrong, you get rewarded. But if you go out to work, you pay your tax, you work very hard all your life, and the system then just says, oh well, thank you for the money, but we want to give it to somebody else, not you. Very, very bad indeed. Okay, so that's that, and that's Star Wars. So listen, consider yourself told off, because you don't belong where you are now. You have no idea of how to run a country, you and your subordinates. Okay, so let's get away from him for a minute, shall we? I've had enough of looking at his horrible face, and we'll get away from Starmer, shall we? So anyway, that's Keir Starmer. That's the man who's the head of this communist regime, this Marxist regime. Don't disagree with me, because if you do, we'll put you in prison. Don't protest about what's right, because we'll put you in prison. Because that's what it's coming to. It's like, you may as well live in Russia under Putin. Well, what's the next thing they're going to do? But anyway, we move on. So I'm going to move on to this next reprobate who's got no idea about economics, whatever she's got to say. And of course I'm talking about her, this one. Yes, Rachel Reeves, yes, the pensioner's friend. Now, although I've just lambasted Keir Starmer for what he's allowed his subordinate to do, she is even worse. She's got no idea of what pensioners, or some pensioners, the regime that they live under, the lack of money that they have, eat their house or eat food. It happens. And on top of that, what's in the future as well, they're going to take out the single person subsidy for council tax or something. That will even take more money away from pensions, because a lot of the people who live on their own pensions are ladies. They're old ladies who've lost their husbands and they're dead, and you're going to take more money from them. So now that I've introduced you to this one, Rachel Reeves, and we'll go back. Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, I'm going to say something. In law, as far as I know, I'm not a lawyer, but I do understand, in law, if a company or an organisation knowingly makes decisions that could endanger, harm or kill people under their watch, shall we say, people who are they responsible for, and you're responsible for pensions, if there's injury or death caused because of your actions, and this goes for law of any company, you know, if it's a big company, small company, if you cause the death because of your neglect, then you are accountable, as far as I know, under law. Now you've done, your own party did the research in regard to how many pensioners could die if you take away this fuel allowance. And it's 4,000, I think it says on your report. So you'll have blood on your hands. You are responsible. You're doing a direct action which could cause the death of people in this country. You're responsible, you and your boss. So think on, when you go to bed at night, and you put your head on the pillow, when this pensioner's dying because you have invented a 200 billion black hole, which I'm afraid, for me, is just a smokescreen. When you can give money to the train drivers, 10,000 a year extra, people in the other jobs, the private sector and the public sector, getting paid more money, sending however many billions to foreign countries to help them with their climate change, when we've got people on the street, people worried about the next time, where's the next meal coming from? It's your fault. Your fault. 5 minutes in government and already everybody hates you because of what you're doing. Ex-military out on the street, no care. And the funniest thing is, Keir Starmer, I think it was, said today that over the National Health Service, which we'll talk about in a longer debate on that, reform or die. Well, I agree, Reform Party, because if you don't get the Reform Party in, you will die. So that's a nice advert for the Reform Party, reform or die. And I think basically a lot of pensioners are going to die, and I'm not being flippant there, I'm being truthful. One more thing before we move on to my the next reprobate that I feel has got absolutely no idea, and there's more, but I'm not going to make the videos too long because they'll get boring. But as far as I'm concerned, you claim, I think, over £3,000 a year for your fuel allowance. You who can afford to pay for your own fuel, but you claim it and spend the taxpayers' money. But you're taking whatever the amount is from pensioners, which is a pittance really, and you don't care that they die. But you have to have your winter fuel paid for, as does the rest of the MPs. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, isn't it? You shouldn't claim expenses. You're paid enough money. Why do you claim this money? Because you're greedy hypocrites and you don't care what happens to the population of the UK. Okay, so as far as she's concerned, the replacement winter fuel allowance to keep warm is a cardboard box. Get inside and with a hot water bottle, that's about right. Okay, so that's them two dealt with. Now I'm going to deal with the one, she's my favourite actually. Do you know, if she was, apart from being a politician, I suppose she'd be quite a laugh to go out with, to be honest with you. But what I want to talk to now is about one person. This next person, for some reason, she always comes up in my videos because she's always up to something stupid. In fact, she should have got a decent education instead of getting, well, I won't go there on her personal life, it's not correct to do that. But here she is, the good time girl of Westminster, of course, Angela Rayner. Now, she's now in charge of building all the homes that they're going to build, but they're going to basically be for the refugees, or as they call them, but I call them illegal immigrants. Even terrorists will get one. Even terrorists will get a house. And also, now, prisoners will take priority as well. So who are they building houses for? Not people who've been on waiting lists for 10 years just to get a council apartment, a council flat. It's disgusting. And also, she's cancelling the right to buy. But that's okay, because she sold her council house and made nearly 50 grand. So that's okay. One law for the goose, and one law for the gander. So people who are in their council house now, or get council houses in the future, will not have the right to buy and maybe aspire to owning their own room. Again, totally communistic. Control the population by force. Don't allow them to say anything that might be hurty. If you don't agree with us, we'll lock you up in prison. It's coming to that anyway. Well, there she is, Angela Rayner, who is, as far as I'm concerned, Deputy Prime Minister. She's out at Ibiza raving like a 16 or 19-year-old at some rave party. You know, it gives me lots of confidence to know that she's running the country. Absolutely disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I don't think you should take away the right to buy, People who aspire to own their homes or own their own homes will work harder in life to achieve that. When you take that right away, why should they? Why should anybody be successful under this government when all you do, you're successful, you're the enemy of us, and we'll take your money and give it to people who don't deserve it? And I know for a fact one particular millionaire who's left and he's ended up over here in Spain. Good luck to him, that's what I say. He sold his company and got out, and he said until they stop, he pays tax. His company paid tax. A great guy. I'm talking about a guy called Charlie Mullins, had a big plumbing firm. He basically, self-made man, made a fantastic company, and he didn't mind paying his tax. But we said, why should I pay tax and give it to people who've just turned up on the doorstep, and you keep giving them handouts? Until they stop doing things like that, he'll stay in Spain. Good luck to you, Charlie Mullins, and there's many more like him who will be very soon closing their business and moving out, because you're penalising the people and entrepreneurs that keep the country going. But I'm sure, Angela, with your education, you know better than all those people. I see, how many companies have you run? What do you know about building houses? You wouldn't know cement from concrete. Well, I don't want to say any more about it because I could get really outlandish. So they're all driving me crazy. So we go back to those three people. The three main people, as far as I'm concerned, who shouldn't be in government because they have got no idea. Okay, so that's enough at looking at her mug. Good time Ange. The good time girl of Westminster, of course, that's her. Stealing your money, robbing the poor to give to the poorer. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to do a long video today. I'm just doing that because it's ridiculous. There's many more things going in on the UK government which are detrimental to living in that country. Many people will never escape. I've noticed through a lot of the emails and a lot of correspondence that I get that many people now are really, really considering leaving England. And some people, I've read some heartfelt ones that came through on Twitter and Facebook. Things like, if I could, I would leave the country tomorrow, but I'm not in a position because I can't afford to. One more thing on the National Health, and I'm not going to knock the people who work in the National Health, like the doctors and nurses, although they've got to pull their finger out and get better. But this, I've got to say something to you. I live in Spain. I'm a pensioner. I've paid into their system the same amount of time that I paid into the UK system. Okay? So my medicine, my prescriptions are all free. I don't pay for it. But last year, I was diagnosed with a tumour on my kidney. And when they diagnosed me with that tumour on my kidney, I thought, oh my God, what's it? Within 2 weeks, after having a couple of consultations with a couple of surgeons, in fact, they said, well, what we'll do, we can either take it out using keyhole surgery and your recovery will be quite quick, or we can attempt to take off the tumour and you will still have 2 functioning kidneys. I said, the second one, please. And they did it. And they took it off. And my kidneys. And that all happened from when they diagnosed it to the operation, a matter of about 3 or 4 weeks, and the operation was done. Whilst I was there, they say, because they do lots of scans on you, full body scans and all that, and they said, oh, you have also you have an embolism, but it's small, and we'll check that regularly for you every 6 months or every year. He said it's probably nothing, and you also, your gallbladder is it's big, and we'll check into that. So they sent me off to another department, and away they went. They checked. They said, oh, it's massive. What do you want to do? I said, well, what's my options? They said, well, there's some tablets you can take that can help, but if it's inflamed and infected, it has to come out. I said, I'll try the tablets anyway. After a week after taking the tablets, I was in excruciating pain. They took me back to the hospital. They said, well, we did tell you, we'll have to take it out. I said, okay. 2 days later, they take it out. And that I had to have a catheter and all those things for a little while, then they took that out. But within a matter of I was 6 months from diagnosis to cure and everything's so hunky-dory. It was all done. 2 operations, follow-ups. They ring me up frequently, how do you feel? They've just built new medical centre here. They've already, the hospital that I was in, amazing. The people that did the operation on the kidney were in the University Hospital down in Granada. Exceptional care. And here I am, 71 years old and fit as a fiddle. I ask you this question before I go. Would that happen? Would it happen? And would it be that quick? And would they see you within a couple of hours? Would they send an ambulance out in less than 15 minutes to my house? Which they did. Would they do that for you in the UK? The UK NHS is broken. It is broken. But I'm afraid to say that what the people that run the NHS, the managers and diversity managers and managers, there's more managerial staff than there is doctors and nurses, I think. Has to stop. Who cares about diversity? When you go in a hospital, you're either a man or a woman. Your physiology, your biology, whatever it is, you're either man or woman. That's it. Don't care how you live your life, and you're treated accordingly. And I just heard that a nurse who refused to ask men if they're pregnant has been fired. Another fully trained nurse fired for common sense. What can I say? That's all I've got to say to you right now. I hope you have a great day. It's a great sunny day here in Spain again, as always. And what date are we on now? We're on the 12th of September. You can go swimming in the sea. I'm going to do a video quite soon about what it's like to live in Spain. I've been here 24 years. And it's great to live. It's a great place to live in the south down here where I am. Great way of life. Safety. Very little crime. Obviously there's crime, but very little. There's very little violent crime. And it's an all-round good place to live. And if I was you, when I do this other video about living in Spain, you should watch it, because you could consider. Don't think you can't afford it, because you probably can. Anyway, me old ducks, it's been great. And like I said, the whole thing is driving me crazy. It's probably driving you crazy as well. It's driving the little girl down here. It's driving her crazy. Everybody's being driven crazy by this loony left Labour Party with their Marxist leaders. So it's time for me to go. I'm sure it is. Until the next time, all I can say to you is stay safe. I'll see you soon. And when I do see you, hopefully things have changed. Maybe Keir Starmer will go to bed tonight and have an epiphany and wake up tomorrow and feel absolutely wonderful. What do you think? I don't know. Okay, see ya. Stay safe.